I fell in a canal. I fell in the canal. I fell in a canal in London on a line bike. I fell in a canal on a line bike in London. I fell in Regent's Canal while riding a line bike on the way home. I'm not really a confident rider at the best of times, but that day I decided I was going to take a line bike home because it was beautiful. The sun was out and the sun was setting. I decided I'd take a line bike. And Google Maps took me through a park and then along the canal, and I thought that'd be a really scenic ride. But when I turned onto the canal, there was about 10 to 15 million people running, jogging along the canal path, and I was immediately having to bob and weave through the people, and I thought this canal path is really not made for runners and line bikes. And the thing is that there's no barrier between the canal and the canal path, and I thought if I don't stop I'm gonna fall in, and I was wrong because I did stop and I still fell in. See, I'm left-footed and I leant towards the canal, and I was feeling a bit confident that day, and I put the seat a little bit higher than I normally would, and my tootsies just didn't even touch the ground, so I just tipped myself into the canal. And when I came up, 3 strangers hoisted me up like a baby out of the canal. And they said, "Are you okay? Have you broken anything? And have you got all your belongings?" And I said, "Fortunately, my phone is on the phone holder on the bike." They said, "The bike's in the bottom of the canal." And I looked, and I just saw a blurry green outline in the bottom of the canal. And I said, "I don't know how I'm going to cancel this line bike." And one of the guys said, "We'll just call Uber and tell them to cancel the bike." And I said, "My phone is in the bottom of the canal. I'm going to have to jump back in." And they said, "Don't jump back in. You're in shock." So I just stood on the side of the canal for 3 minutes with 3 strangers, waiting for them to let me back in. And eventually they did, so I dived to the bottom, felt for my phone in the murky water and pulled it out, and then they pulled me out of the canal again. And my phone was working perfectly fine. It was working perfectly fine. They said, "Try and cancel the bike." So I clicked end ride. It said, "Take a photograph of the bike." I took a photograph of the bike in the bottom of the canal, and the ride ended.